Hey everyone, it's Allison from One Yarmouth, and we are doing another candidate interview. And before we do that, I'd like to thank a member of the community for offering up a room so we do not have to search for one in Yarmouth, especially on a rainy night. So we have list of questions, timer, because the other one's somewhere in my garage, set for 10 minutes. And I am going to, as soon as I start the timer, I'm going to turn around and introduce Chuck Thompson, who is our candidate that we're talking to tonight. So, starting the timer, here we go. Welcome to Chuck Thompson, who is running for town council. So, I will start with the first question. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Right, sure. So first of all, Allison, thanks so much for doing this. It's really a service to the community, and just wanted you to know I really appreciate it. So a little bit about myself. So first and foremost, I'm a husband to my wife, Sarah, and I'm also a father to our 3 children, Mia, Timmy, and Mason. And I appreciate your patience in terms of getting this interview. You know, as you know, I was out super proud. I spent 6 days out in Oklahoma and supporting my son Mason. He competed in a national gymnastics competition, and he took 4th place in the nation. So an incredibly proud moment for us. But a little bit about myself. So beyond a husband and father, you know, I'm essentially an engineer. I'm a problem solver. I love to think about how to solve difficult problems. I love to think about the possibilities. So I have a degree. I went to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I have a degree in ocean engineering and naval architecture, which is basically a mechanical engineering degree. I pursued a love of the ocean and sailing, and it was just in heaven to be able to go to MIT and be in that environment. I leveraged that platform, that engineering background, that problem-solving mentality, and I pursued a career in sales and business development for enterprise technology companies. So we would focus on problems like supply chain track and trace, factory automation, robotics, mobile ordering, e-commerce. I started out initially with some fairly large companies, and then eventually moved in my career to smaller companies where I had a more of an entrepreneurial role. So I participated in 3 startups and thoroughly enjoyed that process. But the takeaway, one of the things that I loved about the startup environment is, one, you have to be able to roll up your sleeves and solve difficult problems, but you have to be able to hire and attract top-notch talent. Right? You have to be able to bring people that have passion, experience, and commitment to the table. So one of the best questions that I love to ask of people is, what is your superpower? Talk to me about your superpower. It's an open-ended question, and you learn a lot about their thinking. And I would encourage the town, as they're contemplating hiring 3 new town councilors, to think about that question and ask about that question. Like, what is the superpower that candidate would bring to the town? And the superpower that I would bring to the town really is this passion for solving problems and a collaborative process, right? Bringing people together and bringing the best out of the team. So.
Okay, thank you. How long have you, oh, there's the camera. How long have you lived in Yarmouth, and what first brought you here?
So we lived in Yarmouth for about 15 years. I was not born in Maine, but I've spent every summer of my life in Maine. My mom's family was from Maine, and we have a summer home up in Friendship that's about an hour and a half north of here. So when I met my wife, Sarah, it was always on the table that at some point we were going to move back, to New England. And so we had our daughter, Mia, and my wife was pregnant with twin boys. And so we knew we were going to have to leave where we were currently living in Minnesota. And we said, listen, maybe we should take the opportunity to move back now. So we did that. We were initially thinking Boston, but we really couldn't find a place that felt like home. And I had just this light bulb that went off. It's like, well, why don't we move to Maine? And so we started looking at some of the typical places, Cape Elizabeth, Falmouth, Yarmouth. And what attracted us to Yarmouth is really the school systems, the community, the Main Street feel. And I'm probably one of my greatest achievements is creating a stable and safe environment and a consistent environment, to raise our family. And that's part of why I'm motivated to run. I really want to protect that environment, and I want to make it available to all of the Yarmouth community.
And that leads right into the next question. What motivated you to run for town council?
All right, so we're going to get into this. So there's really two reasons. I think the growth of the taxes really, we'll get into that in a minute, but my first really experience with the town was when, we saw the plastic ice rink in front of Town Hall. And I understand why that was done, and there were good intentions, like people were trying to do something nice for the kids. But that combined with the fact that there was no tree out front, it kind of, it bothered me a little bit. And so I started to ask questions, and I got more and more involved, and I really wanted to bring my expertise and my passion to the town to really find a way to bring the community together. So as you know, it was quite an effort. We got almost 2,000 people to sign our petition. We had people from all over the community offering help and volunteering, and it was just a wonderful experience. So I offer that as a proof point to the Yarmouth community of how I can work together and collaboratively and bring a positive attitude and get results. And I guess so there was that backdrop with the Christmas tree and the Hanukkah menorah. But it was really the taxes, and I think you guys have seen this chart on some of my online and social media. And our personal experience, if yours is anything like ours, we have experienced about a 49% increase in our taxes over the last 4 years. So it's a problem. It's a problem that we need to address because it's affecting people on a fixed income, it's affecting seniors, it's affecting working families, and that doesn't mean we want to stop all spending. But what it does mean is we want to take a look at our spending, and we want to make sure we're using our tax dollars wisely. And I get a lot of questions around what would you cut? Tell me the line item. Tell me the number that you would cut. And I would push back just a hair on that because it's somewhat counterintuitive, but higher quality can cost less. And I'll give you a quick example. I was at Sam's with my wife. We were shopping, and got the tissue paper, the toilet paper, all this stuff, and then we went to leave the store. And the team member had her little mobile device there, and she said, "Oh, you're good. Come on through." And I was expecting to have my receipt checked, and she said, "You're good." I'm like, "What do you mean? How do you know I'm good?" I asked her. And she said, "Oh, well, we take a picture at the checkout, we take a picture here, we compare it, and then we make a decision about whether you're good to go." And so that's a situation, I guarantee you, Sam's did not say, let's try to reduce the labor of the checkout team. What they said was, let's try to improve the checkout customer experience. And as part of that process, they said, okay, let's deploy technology, let's rethink that process, and ultimately provide a more streamlined process and greater operational efficiency and greater benefit to the customer. So that's the approach. That is my superpower, and that is what I would bring to the town of Yarmouth.
Thank you. So what do you like to do in your free time?
I'm always thinking about, I love to be outside, I love to create, I love to build. If anyone's been to our barn or been to any of the barn parties over the years, you kind of understand the space. It's a wonderful space for creativity and building. And I love to sail. When I was 27, I got together with 3 other buddies from MIT, and we bought a boat. We worked on it for about 4 months, and we ended up sailing on the boat for over a year. So we crossed the Atlantic twice. We learned how to, take a moon sight and get your latitude, and it was really a wonderful experience. So I love the outdoors, and I love sailing.
And what is something you would like residents to know about you?
Well, we've talked a little bit about, the barn parties. So we hosted when the Yarmouth boys and girls soccer team won state champs in 2022, we hosted that party. We hosted a booster club party for the Yarmouth lacrosse. And with the remaining time, I have a surprise for you, Allison. I would like to give you, on behalf of the Merry and Bright Committee, and I checked with the powers that be, this is fully authorized. So this is a piece of the Christmas tree. We would like to say thank you to you and One Yarmouth for all your efforts to help improve the community. So there is a picture of the menorah and a picture of the Christmas tree, and this is the first ever award.
Thank you. And we are out of time, but all right, we're stopping the clock. So if you want to swing it around, thank you very much. Here it is, and
Doesn't it smell nice?
It does. All right, I'll say thank you to Chuck, and have a great rainy day, and in this middle of May where all the grass is growing. Thank you.